Hey everyone, welcome back to Empire Build Academy. I'm Fabian, and I've been going through the guides that I've done. I've noticed I've never done an academy research guide, so that's what this video is all about. Little bit of a talk on the military academy, which comes way further down the line on the Evony build, and also the main academy itself. So let's jump straight over to there now. And the building that we're having a look at is this one here. This is the normal research academy, and then we will also have a look at the military academy as well, which brings advanced buffs further down the line. When we click into the academy, you can see that we've got things like skill books and citizen. Citizen is bringing you additional buffs, so you can see that when you add citizens to your keep, they are bringing small buffs. Obviously, the better the citizen in terms of its grade, the better that research is going to be, but it's going to bring additional buffs for you. And then of course we also have the duty general, and the duty general is something that I would say is very important. You can see I've got Yulji Mundiok, and he is bringing an additional buff of 25%, and he is available in the tavern. So if we go across to the tavern, we go into recruit, we go into the portraits, and then we go across to duty generals. And when we go across to the duty general, we are looking for Yulji Mundiok. He's in Korea. And then once you've got this set up like this, it will also tell you as well the refresh probability in the tavern. So let's go and have a look at that. And when we click on this, you can see that it's 0.07%. So granted, not very easy in terms of getting him from the tavern, but you can see with Yulji, I've managed to get him to the 2-star. And also when I click onto him, in terms of the enhancement, I've got 332 fragments of Yulji. So I can certainly take that to the better level. And that is just me constantly refreshing with the 50 gems and waiting for him to pop out. And as soon as he does pop out, I take him, I break him down. That's 30 fragments. So that's how you would do that. And like I say, I can take him to the next level with the ascension. And those are the different ascensions there that you can see. I've got 20%, some in-city troop defense as well, and HP, a further 8% research speed. So that is crucial to do that before you start, if you can. The other thing that we need to do is the monarch buffs, and making sure that we've got our research set up on here, because as you can see, mine is level 8 on the intellect crown, and that is bringing an additional 50% research speed as well. And then also on top of that, we can go to the civilization treasure, and in there we can see the code of Hammurabi is also bringing an additional 24%. But you can see I've got this to level 5, and I will be honest, to get to level 5 needs a lot of grinding, a lot of treasure chest boxes, and even potentially some coining if you want to do that any quicker as well. So it's making sure that you've got all of those in place, making sure that your monarch is set to the right level with the research. Civilization treasure is set to the research speed because it's used to activate, and also making sure you've got a duty general on there, such as Yulji Mundiok, to improve those buffs. Then when we go into there and we have a look at this, and when we go into there, you will notice that we have some options at the top, starting with advancement, then we've got defense, then we've got military, going all the way across right to the end, alliance, subordinate city recovery, military advance, defense advance. And you can see with the offensive mastery, I would need academy level 41 before I'd even be able to do that. And to get to that, you're going to have to do some coining or potentially play for the next 10 years. Right, okay, on to a serious note, let's get to the advancement. This, for me, is one of the most crucial in the Research Academy because this speeds things up. It unlocks different march spots, etc. So you can see on the first one, we've got the builder, which opens up a slot to do more buildings. Continuing down, you can see that we can increase the hourly production for the different resource spots. Again, we've got some more construction there, it increases construction speed. And next we've got gathering, and you can continue down with all these different things. So it's very important, in my opinion, to spend a bit of time on this at the beginning, trying to get as much of this done as possible. Typography increases research speed. So in an ideal world, get yourself all the way down to here first and get as much of that done as possible so that you're not spending too many hours on research speed and increasing that percentage on how quick that is done. Again, we can increase the production speed of each of the resource spots. Advanced construction is construction speed. Then we go back into the gathering and increasing the speed of that. We've got advanced gathering march speed. So this is how fast your troops will get to the different resource spots. We've got coinage, which is increasing the amount of gold. Very important. Gold is one of the hardest things to get on the game. Then we've we've got things like gems gathering. I don't bother with gems gathering because, in my honest opinion, it takes way too long to gather, and the gems that you get for doing that are very minimal. Advanced silo is protecting your resources from being consumed, and continuing down again, we've got some more in terms of increasing the hourly production. There's some more research speed, so that is increasing that by 100% when maxed out, and there is some more gathering all the way to the bottom, and then finally finishing off with construction speed. Moving across, we've got the next two that I'm going to sort of speak about at the same time, which is defense and military. And when you go into the defense one, go all the way to the top on this. As you can imagine, this is all about increasing your HP, increasing your defense, making your keep stronger, and increasing your defense for the attacks that come in. So defense is all about you defending from attacks. Military is the opposite. This is about how good you are in attacking other keeps. So on the defense, you can see things like increases walls HP. Then you can see increases troop defense for defending cities. So this is all in city buffs that is going to improve your keep from those attacks. Engineering is more wall HP. Advanced stockpile increases the resource protection of your resources. And then you can see we've got increases the traps. These are all the different trap attacks that you've got. Marksmanship is your archer tower, which again is crucial to get to a high level so that your archer tower is doing the best that it can. Trap power, although it's one of those that you need to do to go down, what I will say with traps is it's not really used in the game, so just getting it to the next level and then moving on is perfectly fine. So you can see there on the traps building speeds, I've only got it to 11. That is what I needed to go to the next one, which is the crafting speed of the forge, where your weapons are done. We've got general revival, so when one of your generals die, it's how quick they are revived when you go into that option. We've got some more trap attack, we've got some more archer tower attack, we've got some more trap power, we've got advanced medical power, which is increasing your hospital capacity. We've got healing speed being increased. Cooking is reducing your troop upkeep. What I will say about your troop upkeep, the resource that is used is food, but what I will say is there is a certain threshold that you can go to that it will not be consumed before. So mine is, I think, 600 million. I can have 600 million food opened before troops would consume this. So all I do is make sure I never open more than the 600 million. So that 413.7 million, perfectly fine, not going to be used by the troops. So the cooking research technology, again, is reducing how much troop upkeep you have. But again, if you've never got the food open and getting into a good routine of doing that, then this isn't really something that you need to focus on. And then we've got some defending troop attack, defending troop HP. We've got some super automation, which is again the traps. We don't really need to do that. Reduces troop upkeep again, and then going down, finishing off with some super defending attack and defense for your castle. So again, that 40% that you can see there on the screen increases troop HP for defending city. That is going to be 40% troop HP, all of my troops. So again, very crucial that the defense and the military, especially if you're going with a defense, then having these two here, 96, 100% maxed out to the top that they possibly can, is crucial for the game and the mechanics behind the game. You're either going to defend, you're either going to attack. I am now purely defense at the moment. I'm going to stay that way for quite a while. So the attack side of things, although I did it early and it's done and it's there, it's not something that I need to focus on with the military academy. Now in the military, this is where you're going to see your troop buffs being increased. So you've got ranged troop attack, archer, infantry, and ground as well for the different buffs there. Formation, that's a march slot. Very important that you unlock all of them as and when you can. The battering ram is for siege machine, cavalry, tracing. That is march speed to monsters. What I will say with the march speed is, especially on the monster side of things, is if you are in a big alliance and there's someone much bigger than you killing the monsters and you are joining those attacks, you will find your march is a lot slower than the person setting those attacks. So sometimes you can miss out on future rallies and if your march speed isn't up there for the monster. So I do think this one is particularly important. Ranged troop HP, siege machine HP, coordination, that's increasing your march size. Again, if you want to be attacking, that is crucial. We've got another march slot that you also need to unlock. We've got some XP from killing monsters. We've got some more troop buffs for all the different troop types. Advanced conscription, that is your training speed. And then again, continuing all the way down, we've got some march speed increases. We've got some buffs there being increased as well. Coordination, as I mentioned, is your march size, getting that done. Super advanced dispatch, that's your march slot. And then continuing down, again, we've got some more march size. until we get to the bottom and finish off with some more super troop defense and morale and coordination. So again, when you're doing the attack, I would say defense and attack, both of these crucial at the beginning, but only after you've got as much of the advancement tab done, so that the advancement is increasing how quick you do things and also how cheap it costs in relation to doing that. And just to make you aware, you may hear people say about trees, that's what we would call these different ones. We would call them a research tree. So if you hear someone talking to you about the medical age tree, that is where we're going. We're going into this medical age tree. I'm going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to speed through this a little bit more now. Now we've kind of got an idea as to what's going on. So within the medical aid, you can imagine things like hospital capacity. You can imagine healing troops speed up as well, which is going to make things faster. You're going to increase the warehouse capacity during server war. We also have death turning wounded rate of ranged troops when they are attacking. So this is going to increase that percentage by 10%. Mounted troop revival, siege machine revival, that is also going to be the same. And then continuing down with the medical, again, you get the idea. I don't need to go into every one of these, but they are all going to be relevant to your healing and your hospitals within your keep. And that's going to involve things like hospital capacity. It's going to involve things like troop speed ups. Moving across, we've got the Alliance one next. And this is where you're going to see the Alliance help times, the amount of Alliance helps you can have, everything related to the Alliance, which can include sharing things with members. It can also involve what you are doing with the Alliance to help. So we've got transportation for food. We've got relic exploration. I will say that is crucial to speed up, because relic exploration, especially now they've brought out the level 30 ancient relics, does take quite a while to gather from the relics, and they are very, very useful. So having that sped up as quick as possible is also going to help. Again, you can see reinforcements. Reinforcements is where I would send troops to go and protect your castle. So again, when these percentages are up, when these percentages are maxed, you are getting the best benefit for that. Reinforcing march speed, you can see I've left it alone because I'm not too bothered about how long it takes. At the end of the day, if I'm reinforcing someone in my alliance, then the likelihood is I'm going to be pretty close to them. Reinforcing capacity, so this would be how many you can actually send. And you also get Alliance resource spots as well, and this is going to speed up how quick you gather in those Alliance resource spots. And rallying capacity, you can see there, that is going to be adding how much you can send in a rally, and continuing all the way down. Again, the mysterious relic exploration, I will say that is pretty important, and obviously it all is in some way kind of important, but again, it's going to take you quite a while, especially if you're starting from the beginning, to get to the bottom of these. Subordinate cities, well, what are subordinate cities? They are quite simply an additional way to send troops with your attack marches, and also they can provide additional help when defending your main city. So you can see how much gold we're going to produce in there. It's going to be increased by 40%. You are going to want to do as much of this as possible, but at the same time, as with the other trees, there are going to be certain areas that you don't need to increase too much. Material speed up, materials are always going to be advantageous. What I will say with these early parts is some of it will feel minimal, but again, you're still going to want to be having research on the go all the time. So if you're going to be away from the game, make sure you've got something researching so that you're not having to use speed ups for all those different things. Again, in city defense, I talked about the subordinate cities being able to do that, and again, there are some additional buffs. And you can see we can continue all the way down. Again, it's all going to be based on the troops and those subordinate cities and the buffs that they give to your keep, whether you are attacking or whether you are defending. Now, you may have noticed there as well that I actually haven't finished some of these. So it's been so long I've been in here that these really need to be maxed out. So that is definitely something I'm going to do when I can. We've got the increase the capacity of troops in the subordinate city. That's something else that I'm going to do. So actually there was a few bits in there that I still need to do, so I'm going to go and do that. With the recovery side of things, this is going to be all down to your Holy Palace and how many deserters it can hold in there, and also the speed of the junior horns which are used to recover those troops in there and how fast they are produced. And also you can see as well there's some more stuff that I haven't completed in there that I will consider doing on my next research event. And that is another good point actually that I'm going to mention. When you are doing these events, when you go into the event center, you will know there is a server Monic competition. So today's one is resource gathering. So I wouldn't want to do my research today because it's not going to give me the points which go towards the different rewards that you can get on here, and also ranking rewards as well. You can see I'm currently 16th overall. So you need to get into a routine of where you're doing your research on construction and research day, you're doing trained troops on trained troops day, you're gathering when it is gathering day. Now you may wonder why I have no one gathering today, and it is resource gathering, and that is because I've sent everyone out. We're doing a lot of monster rallies, so that is very important to do on that as well. Now coming back off this, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to go and speed up a little bit more now that we understand what we're doing. So recovery will be for that. Military advance and defense advance, these are opened up later, but again, as we spoke with the military earlier at the beginning, the defense and military here, this is just an advanced version of these. So the military advance and the defense advance is going to give you additional buffs on all of those different things. So you can see increased training capacity troops, we've got ground troop HP, all those different ones there. You can see march speed has been increased. So all the kind of things that you see in the attack one at the beginning, and same with the defense, you're also going to get in here as well. And as I mentioned earlier, it is important that you've always got a research going on, so you don't have to use speed ups for doing that. Now jumping over to the military academy, now I'm not going to go too deep into this, and the reason I'm not going to is because it's quite far down the line, especially if you are a new keep, where this is actually unlocked. I can't remember off the top of my head at what level it unlocks, but it's around the 30 mark, so it's quite a while before you do that. But the military research again is now going to be troop specific, but again is going to give even better buffs than what you did in the normal research academy. So let's just have a look at a couple of examples. Go all the way to the top on this, and you can see increases ground troops HP by 40%. That's going to make a big difference to the marches you send. And it's not just ground troop attack, it is also going to be ground troop defense as well. And when you go into this one, you can see that this one is relevant to defending, and the one underneath will be to attacking. So it's just keeping an eye on what that is and how that is. Now in an ideal world, you can see that my ground troop formation is 66%. Why is it only 66%? Because it's Evony, and there will come a point where I need to increase the level of the military academy, and you can see that there I need military level 5. And also with the decision that I've made recently, certainly within the last 6 months or so, to head towards a defense keep, anything that is relevant to attacking, I'm sort of not doing that at the moment. So this one is an attacking buff. I don't need it. I'm not going to be attacking too much, so I'm not too fussed about completing them. What I am interested in doing is going to all of these different ones, the ground, the mounted, the ranged, and the siege, and finding those defensive buffs so that I can do that. But again, the military academy, without going too deep into it, it's an additional research academy where the buffs are even better. They are far greater than what you would find in the normal military academy, and you will certainly notice the difference in those buffs. But again, all starts with the tree. You may have noticed that there's a couple there I've got in naught. Again, that's because military academy level 6 is now required for this one, and this one's military academy 11, and I'm not even going to touch any of that end stuff. I really am not. I may open this at some point, level 6. I think I need level 40 in terms of the keep, so that is again also going to be far off. But to summarize the academy and what it is, this is where you're going to gain additional buffs, you're going to speed things up, you're going to earn more resources, you're going to train troops faster, you're going to open up march slots, all these things that are going to increase and improve your keep to bring it better buffs and make it better overall for your defense and for your attacking. So that is pretty much it. I don't really need to go too much more into it. That is what you are doing in there. Like I say, if you are at the beginning, then you're going to want to focus in there, and you're going to want to focus without a doubt on that advancement one first, so that you're making everything as cheap and as fast as possible when it comes to research, when it comes to construction, when it comes to training troops. Make sure that advancement tab is something that you are working on from the very, very beginning. If you've got any questions or you feel that there's something I've missed from this particular video, as always, please do pop it in the comments, and I will look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Thanks for watching.